Well,
Oh,
I believe
we
the
can
Bible
order
says,
now.
and the Bible says we have
Okay,
free
welcome
choice.
everyone.
We have free will.
This is July 11th. Friday, July 11th, we're here in Greenville, Coffee and Politics at our Greenville HQ. Hi, Claire. We have a full house and we're excited to be here. We took a break last Friday. We didn't take a break from meeting. We were here. We took a break from live streaming. I did not have energy to be sitting in front of camera after Jeff that was the week Jeff was at the hospital, so I was just probably had puffy eyes from just not sleeping well, which was all good and worth it. He is home now, recovering well. You will hopefully see him next week. We have doctor's appointments on Monday just to remove all remaining tubes out of him, and he will be finally tube free without going into details. First time in 14 months.
Hallelujah.
And he cannot wait. He even called the doctor Wednesday and asked, could I come on Friday by any chance? If I could be tube free by the weekend, I think I could ramp up my recovery. And the doctor or the nurse, I'm not sure whether they even contacted the doctor. The answer was like, no, we need 2 weeks, which is Monday. So he was tiny bit disappointed, but it's 2 days away. And I think he cannot wait. And then he is on a very strict diet too. So that's another little thing we're dealing with. He cannot have the first week or first 2 weeks, he pretty much could not have any fat, like zero. So he could have 20 grams of fat a day. I never pay attention to fat. So now for someone with zero fat, it's impossible. I mean, ragu cook without butter.
Do it.
Well,
It is
we
possible.
figured out a way, but
Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah.
Anything you do, you want a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
And you
Butter always makes it better.
like you cannot have butter like at all. I mean, I figured out how to cook fat-free omelets. If anyone ever needs an idea, yes. Well, and again, it's not what I would normally eat, but you get egg whites only. Egg whites don't have fat. The yolks have fat. You use a cooking spray, which I never use, but that doesn't have fat. And you put whatever you wanted in the egg whites, which for Jeff, it's basically ham. So we make ham omelets with egg whites and ham and cooked on a cooking spray. And it's fat-free. That's his favorite thing. Poor guy. He's been eating fat-free omelets. And his mother, she's a Southern belle. She came up with a way to cook fat-free shrimp and grits.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And he was so happy to eat that,
I
even
think
though,
that's awesome.
well, she kept saying, oh, that is not tasting good. It was basically grits cooked on, I think, fat-free broth, like not creamy, nothing. But it was
No butter.
no butter.
No bacon grease.
So she was not happy, but we basically said if we can taste, we were afraid she was going to like slip a little bit of butter in there just to make it happen. We told her, Jeff was very firm, saying, how he can imagine the fat leaking through his abdomen, which is basically a risk of that side effect after his surgery.
Oh wow.
So she promised she did not put any butter, and I don't think there was any butter in it. But Jeff was very satisfied with
Well, after all he's been through, he doesn't need to take any risk.
no, and that's his.
Very
That's
hard
that's why I also want to thank everyone who offered to bring a meal, and we have people reaching out, and I usually say I never say no to food because I love being fed myself. But this time it's just too risky, and there's number one, it's too risky that I know people mean well, but someone could just slip some butter in a meal. And also it's a challenge to ask someone, well, sure, bring a meal, but can you cook or make sure it's fat-free, it's hard. So we just had to, kindly decline. But after, I think he's moving on to 40 grams a day of fat this week for another week, and then I think he will be cleared. So then you can bring any meals or cookies that you would like, and I know Jeff will be happy to have a peanut butter and jelly again. Now it's just plain toast with jelly. That's what he's allowed to eat. No butter. But hey, we're good. He is recovering, and we got good pathology results. And we talked about it before I went online. The best case scenarios of the surgeries happened. The doctors were able to perform again at all the scenarios, the best options that we were considering, and there were no surprises. And the surgery did last longer than expected. It was expected 3 to 4 hours. I think they ended at 5.5 hours, but I am used to that, and I knew they were just doing their job. I was not nervous about that part. I'm like, you take your time and fix everything. So we are very happy. We just are ready for Jeff to get back on his feet, because we've been home for 2 weeks and it's been fun. But the generals are keeping us entertained as always. So anyone would like to start or talk about anything? We have few requests. Do you think, Bill, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can. Just an update on Spartanburg, what's going on?
You want to zoom in on,
I am, but he needs to move up a little bit.
or you can do this camera, zoom on Bill.
Okay, well, if he just moves over just a little bit that way.
Do that? Okay. Okay.
Move over.
Keep
going.
Yep.
There you go. Now you're right on. Okay, good. We're in Spartanburg. We're meeting every week. Saturday mornings, 9:30 to 11:30. And it's the Republican Party as a whole, not the ECs. I mean, the ECs are there, but not all of them. But anyway, we've got 2 elections that are very important right now going on. One is Sheriff. Sheriff Wright retired, or resigned. Yeah, that's it. He resigned. People loved him, and he's, you can't say anything bad or you'll get whipped down, pretty bad. I mean, you just don't. Nobody knows anything. They're not releasing anything, so we have no idea why he resigned. But I think it's going to be tried down in Columbia so that it's not, something, stirring the pot here in Spartanburg. So anyway, that's their replacement. 9 people stepped up to take his place.
Wow.
Yeah. They're all excellent. They're all really good people. They're all, I just haven't heard one of them speak that I didn't like. So with 9 people, we've got to kind of pick down who we're going to support. Each of us have our own picks. This evening, 6 o'clock is the first forum of all, 8 is only going to show when I'm decided not to. But the forum will be at 6. They're at Converse College, auditorium, 1,000 seats there. You can buy tickets online if you want to. Just go to Converse College, Twitchell Auditorium. And they're free, but you got to get your tickets.
Yes, and I'm told that over 800 tickets were reserved or claimed, which
Really?
I'm expecting you guys are going to be have.
Yeah.
Amazing crowd.
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal.
Uh-huh.
Sheriff, we often undermine the power of sheriff, how important sheriff is in our county. So I'm not surprised that people want to hear from the candidates, and especially again, we don't live in Spartanburg, but to your point, I think Sheriff Chuck Wright was someone that a lot of people were looking up to us
Oh, yeah,
sheriff.
absolutely.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, when our sheriff was elected, and I speak about kind of our community, excited because she was being mentored by Sheriff Wright, and suddenly the good guy seemed to be in a lot of trouble, which is kind of like you want to, kind of scream like, and again, we don't know, innocent until proven guilty. I don't even know details. I haven't paid that much
You
attention
know as much as anybody.
or the
That's the
allegations are,
Mhm.
but it's just never a fun thing
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, there are no details, so you know as much as anybody about that. And then the other election is a county council, David Britt resigned, and he was kind of the head of the opposition. Just use that word.
Okay.
So it's a good thing, but his replacement is already in there as a one of the guys running is the chairman, I think brother-in-law or something. And so he's got the same money, the same back that David Britt had. It was all commercial development. And David worked for his whole life and the main concrete company. And so all the building and all, like supposedly the concrete money went to his bosses. So it was big money buying the seats over and over, and then as people coming in countywide, real smart, to fight the money because we don't have a lot of money. And so it's going to have to be door knocking campaigns. Whoever can knock on more doors is the one that's going to win. One of the sheriffs, I've gotten big, what is the 6x8 flyers. I've already gotten one a week for 2 weeks, and we're still 5 weeks away from the election. So there's a lot of money behind some of these guys, and that's always questionable when that happens. It's one way to win the election if people don't door knock.
Do you know, and maybe you're not on the top of your head, the names of candidates that are running for for the council seat? I know one, and again, this is just because I personally know Brian Albertson.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
our friend from Spartanburg. If you ever seen watch Jeff had been on a podcast in Spartanburg. They have a Facebook page, Freedom's Fence Line, and they have every Thursday evening. I think they have different guests, and Brian is one of the hosts. It's the Freedom Fence Line Get Us Stepping podcast. They're hilarious. I love listening to them. And I know Brian is one of the candidates that is running. I don't know
he
the
would
names
be
of others.
excellent, but I don't think there's much money there behind him. So he's going to have to, and I've been talking to him, and can I say who I support?
You are a citizen. You can have your
Okay,
voice. This
well,
is not a support
Brian
by.
Albertson needs to get in there, but he's got very little money. There's another sheriff that's sending these flyers out where 9 out of 10 people don't ever go to the events or know what's going on. They only get the emails. So he's got, I bet he spent $100,000 just on flyers. So that's what Brian is up against, and I've been trying to coach him, get out there and start door knocking. It's your only chance, and put the effort and time in, and we'll see. So and he only lives maybe a mile from me. It's a different district, but he's not far, so we're neighbors.
Well, that's what we teach people. That's where the grassroots comes in. The money is one thing, the flyers is one thing, but people have learned. I don't know about you guys, but door knocking is the way to do it, because there are so many people now when they receive actually a flyer, that's how they cross off the candidate off the line. People are learning that the flyers is the money, and if you're a true grassroots candidate, you most likely don't have the money that establishments or people that have been involved have the money. But the awareness that voter turnout is number one issue, and you have to get to the voters. And door knocking is one of the ways to do it. There are other ways, obviously, but
And then for sheriff, I mean, every one of them, we have them speaking at the meetings, and I mean, they're just excellent candidates, but they're all, okay, it's a $38 million budget. None of these guys, they're just troopers, they're just, from the trenches.
sure.
None of those guys really know how to handle it, have ever handled a $38 million budget, except one. Rick Stevens. Okay, he worked, and he actually worked for the sheriff's department for a while, but then he went to the State Department as a forensic accountant.
Okay.
And they shipped him overseas for 10 years to go and watch the money and trail the money. And so he would do like $60 million budgets and work through them and see where the fat is and see where the money's going astray somewhere where it shouldn't. That was his job for 10 years. So he's what we need in there, but I don't know, he's just like Brian. He's grassroots, he doesn't have a lot of money, he's one we need, but, and again, that's my opinion.
Yes.
Can you just mention that podcast name again?
Yeah, and how do you spell it?
So their Facebook page where they stream it. It's freedoms, like freedom, plural from freedoms, fence, hyphen line, freedom fence line. And the podcast name is Freedom Fence Line, Geta, GET apostrophe TA, Steppen, STEPPIN.
So repeat that again. Okay.
Can say the better way, but it's Freedom Fence Line, Geta, Steppen. And they start every Thursday at 6:35 p.m. That's their
Thursday,
6:35 p.m. 6:35 is their starting point, and there's three guys that are running it: Brian, Keith Taylor, and Lou, and they're hilarious. And they have again bringing either guests. They had David, I think, twice now, or now they have candidates that come and they interview them, or different issues, just kind of what you hear, other than they have just the three of them plus one guest. And I'm going to share for our online audience the sheriff debate that is happening today. It's hosted by the Spartanburg County Republican Party today, which is July 11th at Twitchell Auditorium, Converse College, 580 East Main Street in Spartanburg. The forum starts at 6:15 p.m. Doors open at 5:15 p.m. If you go to our Facebook, Greenville GOP, we shared that event and the link to the how to get tickets on our Facebook. If you go to Spartanburg GOP Facebook, that's where it is. Becky McClellan, she posted it around. The forum is free, but they want you to claim a ticket just to, I guess they want to keep track, who's coming, how many people head count. And again, as of, I think last night, I saw there are over 800 tickets claimed, which is a huge number and a great crowd. So I'm expecting it to be a great event.
Max 1,000.
Is the maximum. So yeah, then we reach the capacity, which would be so good and shows, excitement about not excitement, but people wanting to know who the candidates are, which is very important. And as far as the county council race, that is a special election that is happening. Is it August 5th?
I think a week later. Either that or a week before, I think.
I mean, the sheriff election.
Oh,
or
sheriff.
later. No.
I think.
August.
Oh, is it later? August 7th, I thought was sheriff.
think, well, I think August 5th is the county council race, and I think sheriff is
Second,
later.
I mean, that's.
Oh, I just got a message to make a correction. Over 900 tickets are planned. I'm glad Becky is listening. Maybe Becky can give us the dates for sheriff race and the county council race. I will keep an eye on the messages, but if you're listening, Becky, if you send me those dates, I will be happy to share it here. Again, I haven't followed closely enough to remember, but let's make people aware where when the elections are. Well, thank you, Bill, for your update. Anything else you want to share, or your?
No, I mean, that's the big thing right now. We're there's some, we'll just have to go through it. There's going to be some troubles where, okay, the ECs will be making all the decisions. The chair should go to the ECs, call a special meeting, and the ECs should be voting on everything.
Oh.
But what's happening here in Spartanburg is they don't call the ECs. We're back to what we had before.
Well, I don't think it's chair's responsibility to call it. If ECs want a special meeting, they're in charge to call a special meeting. The chair just do meetings.
No, the chair does do meetings, but he and 10, well, it would be 10 people, I think, in Spartanburg, can either the chairman can call the meeting.
Right.
Or the 10 people, 10 ECs can call the meeting.
Correct, but it's not chairman's responsibility to go to ECs to call them. The chair, like
Well,
Jeff has schedule of meetings. If there's ECs that want to do a special meeting, it's the ECs getting together and calling for a meeting if there is a special agenda they want to cover.
Now, what I'm trying to say is that it's not up to the chair to decide and put on the event and then just tell ECs what they're doing.
Depending upon the rules.
Yeah, we don't have any
This-
rules.
this-
Not-
The EC body sets policy of the party, but as far as telling the chair what events he can or cannot, no, it's at chair's discretion. Am I right?
No, that's just not right. I mean, we elected people. That's like, okay, I'm a soil and water commissioner. Okay, I'm an elected person. I go there. 5 of us sit around, soil and water commissioners. There's a head chair, and we vote on everything. Every time spent. We don't just go ahead and do it. Now, where there's a problem that just came aware was. 1 week, we were told by Frank Tiller that it will be at Converse, the Twitchell Auditorium, and that it'll be $10 a person to go. And that's fine. That's nothing. And everybody, I'm sure, would pay that, no problem. A week later, on Saturday, he says, well. I think he'd been communicating with Nate. Nate's been trying to weasel in there a whole lot. But he said, well, no, we're just not going to charge.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
Now, the problem with that is every meeting they're asking for donations. And I give as much as I can. But every meeting, we don't have any money. We're left in. We're only left about $400 or $500. And we're trying to build it up. Well, what was done by the chair all by himself was he just said, we're not going to charge anything because that's what they recommend, not charging. They
And
didn't do it
actually,
themselves.
the chair has the discretion to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, just think
Okay,
about it.
well-
Think about it though. Again, I'm gonna use Jeff because he's running the event. If you wanna buy Greenville rooms, actually, the EC body sets a policy of how the party is going forward. As far as organizational details, the only thing that actually the executive board, you're talking the first, second, third, fourth, fifth vice chair, secretary, treasurer, votes in Greenville situation to direct the chairman is if the chairman wants to spend more than $1,000 on it. Everything
That
else
would
is
be reasonable, but if you look at what happened, one man, a brand new chairman, cost the Spartanburg Republican Party $10,000. Now, how? Because they took not selling the tickets. They
well,
had.
but what if he was noticing that there was no demand of people? Because they're, from my understanding, and again, number one, I'm going to put it out there. If you ever listen to the person that was giving you a hard time, just don't pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
He,
No, I mean, that's.
yeah,
Becky
not
was-
worth mentioning. If there, I think 5 of the sheriff debates, it is, I think the voter turnout is probably more important than the money. And we were in this situation when Jeff became a chair. We had 0 money. Nate spent it all before we took over, and reorg was free. We had 0 money. So I hear your point, but I think, from my understanding, if Frank, the current chairman, saw that there was not demand for people to pay and donate to attend debate because there are 5 other debates, I think it's an executive decision to not charge it, and I don't disagree with that decision. And on the other hand, imagine if the chairman had to call the EC body to make every small decision like that.
Yeah, but
It would
not
never
small, but I mean, I agree. I think that was a good amount, 1,000. But when you're talking 10 grand, just at the snap of fingers, and it was for a different reason. He said, well, no, second time, we don't have to charge. The first time he said, well, Converse requires us to charge $10 a person. And then he backed out. He said, well, no, we're not gonna charge.
I think
Well,
people,
you have to pay for the space.
What's that?
You have to pay for the space there.
No,
Oh, no.
no cost.
Right.
So
Well, no, there is a ton of cost, and that's what they keep hitting us on the meetings for. There's security. You have to have cleanup, you have to have, I mean, just different costs add into it. And they're every meeting saying, please give, we don't have enough money. Yeah.
and we've been doing the same thing. We pass the hat, people donate, and from my understanding also, I don't know the amounts, but either you guys ended up getting sponsors or some Patriot, whether they were, bigger sponsors or just Patriots chipping in. So I think you guys got donations. Frank just make a decision not to charge individuals. But I think, from my understanding, is that the donations came in because there was an issue because of, haters gonna hate. They put it out in public that now this Spartanburg GOP is bad because they want to charge money, which, again,
They
there's
don't-
nothing wrong from county party to ask the shareholders, the citizens to chip in. Nothing wrong.
Charge $2.
Exactly.
Something.
But because there was a negative press, they just want to get over the drama. They want to get the tickets to citizens. Some people, because of that, stepped in, donated some money to cover the cost or whatever it is, and the tickets ended up being free. And again, over 900 now claimed. I think it's a win for everyone, because if you have 900 people, or not everyone will show up, let's say 500 at an event, that is I think worth more than the amount that you could have raised. Yes, sir.
Well, the bottom line of it is, you want the public educated so they'll go out and vote and get the right people in place.
And just to clarify, the Converse required tickets, not money. So they didn't require the party to
Yeah,
sell
but
tickets.
the first time out, he told us.
They,
required
so maybe-
$10 was why they did it.
Maybe that was a misunderstanding, but they required tickets. That's why they're now claiming the tickets. And I think,
Can I go over and explain basically the rules and Robert's rules and state law? By state law, well, I've got it, I printed them out. Everybody, I can hand out like 15 of them if you guys want. But state law, it says the county must elect a president. That is state law.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did not elect the president. We have a chairman. The chairman is supposed to only run the EC meeting. The president is supposed to be out there doing stuff and then going to the EC meeting and getting approval if it's over the whatever, something unreasonable. So by state law and them ignoring it, that's where Nate,
What, who has, what are you talking about? What county party has a president?
none.
Okay.
We see, this is how Drew.
So I don't want to, no disrespect, but I don't want to get into laws and rules that no one maybe follow. I'm not familiar with electing. I know
Well,
you're
state
exactly,
law,
you're
we
exactly-
have to follow, and nobody's doing it. That's the whole
well, again, so you may have that discussion with Drew.
thing. Yeah, well, no, I had that discussion
None,
with Jeff.
because as
You know,
far as,
and that's what 2 years ago, I went and I asked Jeff, look, we can stop this if we just learn the rules. And
Well,
we
we're going
decided
back to
not
a
do it.
conversation last week that it's about the numbers. You by yourself, and even if Jeff supported your idea, you cannot stand up at the state convention and say the rules are broken, please listen to us. That's not going to happen. It's about the numbers. It's about enough numbers to put the right leadership at the state party, and then we may fix all the issues. We may start following the laws, which I don't fully understand. The president EC thing, it's very, to me, all I can think of is precinct. That's how we implement it. We
Yeah,
elect,
but no, it's
we
state
elect,
law, county convention, you must elect a president.
Okay, we elect president to run the convention. That
Yeah,
is
no,
by the
there's
law.
a temporary president for the
Right.
run, but then you must elect a president.
I'm not aware, never
Well,
heard of it.
We
Never.
elect
Well-
a temporary president at the very beginning, and then after it's established that you have quorum, then you elect a permanent president.
Right.
But that's just the convention.
And if we go into recess, the president remains should the convention be called back. But it's not a president to run the county party.
Well, see, that's in Robert's rules, that's what a president does. He runs and runs the county. In Robert's rules, the chair runs just the EC meetings. Okay,
Well,
so,
If you give me a copy of the law, I appreciate that. 'cause I'm-
yeah, it's laws.
Greg is
and
our
rules.
parliamentarian, so he was studying it for us.
Yeah.
Back to politics here.
But
Yeah.
all I'm going to say, I think we have a lot of, I think we're very thankful in Greenville for our setup. Jeff now, then Yvonne, now Jeff again, they run the party. The EC sets policy, and then we have all executive board that support the chair and, do excellent job at different things, whether it's committees or reorg or Terry is running events for us. And it's just, we're very blessed to have the most amazing team. And I think you guys, I know your leadership is new in Spartanburg, and I'm gonna keep a copy as well. Just like we did 4 years ago, we were learning kind of on the go. So I would give them grace on how they run the party, but I think their heart is in the right place, and they will be amazing. They're working bees, and they will just have to learn a few things here and there as they go, because they're all new to the leadership role. That doesn't mean they're not capable. When I hear this, all these people got elected that they don't know what they're doing, that's okay. And they know what they're doing. They may be doing things different. And that's what we always say, that we would actually take, other citizens to replace our state legislators right now. They may be new, they may not know exactly the procedures or tricks, but you know what, they probably vote better. So I believe your leadership in Spartanburg will run the
Yeah,
party.
I love them. I mean, I think they're great. I really do.
And your job, I don't know what the title, but even as a voter, is to support them. And you have great knowledge and experience, and I know they will appreciate your support as they learn.
Well said.
Oh, learning the hard way.
Yeah.
So that is where we are with Spartanburg. Let me check, do I have any more information? Okay, I have the date. So apparently both the sheriff and county council and Spartanburg elections are on the same day. Early voting starts in 10 days, July 21st until August 1st. That is early voting. Then election day is August 5th, and runoff is August 19th. So there will be 2 races on the ballot, sheriff and the county council for the district that the county council is in. And the election office is predicting 25% turnout, which is a double the historical average in South Carolina primaries, which is huge. Sadly, but it's huge. And you know what? It's probably part of it because, again, from personal experience, any press is good press, and some of the haters try to give the Spartanburg GOP bad press about charging for tickets. It's still press. And I bet that's why the turnout is getting higher, because there were newspaper articles. How anyone dare to charge for debate? And you know what? It's still press.
These people saw there was a debate.
That's exactly right. I bring the same story over and over, but when we ran school choice and we were targeted and harassed by Department of Revenue and all, and I was interviewed, or Jeff, by reporters about the accusations, and we had to answer questions, and at the end the reporter would always ask, do you want to add anything? And we would say, write what you want, but please include that we still need $4.2 million to raise for kids. And they would add that paragraph. And I remember there was a donor, maybe the number wasn't 4.2 at that point, whatever the number was. The next day we received a call, and there was a person in South Carolina and said, I read the article, how much money you still need? Wow. And we said, well, nothing changed from yesterday. We need 4.2 million. They said, you will have it tomorrow. And that's how we were able to raise all the money needed. And that's why they also changed the program for government run program, because they could not stand that school choice was successful in South Carolina. And despite everyone giving us this bad press, we were still raising money because donors cared about kids. They knew better that politics and that press was political rather than anything else. All right, Ray, do you want to switch, Bill? Ray will give us an update on some pro-life fun things going on. I have been following Facebook, and I see Ray at the abortion clinic in the heat of the day, not protesting, but praying. If anyone ever would like to join, Ray can talk about it. Do you guys have a regular schedule? But the abortion clinic is...
That's his.
Mine's down.
Oh, right.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
Intro music.
Yes, that was Ray's intro music.
we do have a list. We do have a list that people sign up for to be out there regularly. Generally speaking, from 9 to 11 is the busiest time of the day. I usually go out there twice a week from about 8:30 to either 11 or 12. And yes, it's getting hot right now. But,
I was going to put as you speak, what is your website? I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
And as I talk about some more things, a lot of it's on the website, especially the links that you will need to register to different things. It's gcrpisprolife.com is our website. And if you go to the second tab is events, and I want this events page to be the go-to place for all pro-lifers. if someone were to move into the Greenville area and wants to know what pro-life events are going on, this is the webpage I want them to come to. So if you know anyone who is doing a lot pro-life event and it's not on my calendar, please get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to put it there. Now, beginning Monday, we're gonna do a documentary. We're gonna do a screening of a documentary. It's the next 3 events I'm gonna talk to are all gonna be at Denny's down the road. You can show up at 5:30 if you would like to eat. 6:30 is when these events will start. Next Monday is gonna be Vegas Baby. It's a documentary about IVF. It talks about, you'll actually see the greed of the people that are running the show. You'll see the misery that they're feeding on. And the main question when you watch this or any other documentary in IVF, it's really easy to be drawn into the people because they're suffering. But they're suffering because they want to have a child, and that's understandable. But if you took a child out of what they're saying and inserted drugs or inserted gambling or inserted alcohol, how would you feel about that? And that's one of the things I think this documentary does is show just how much of this industry is basically taking advantage of people who have an addiction. How many of these couples, there's just no other alternative. They're going to have their own baby or they're just not going to have a baby. And to me, that passes a line between a legitimate desire to have a child and having this desire become an addiction. And one of the things I'm going to talk about a little bit later is alternatives to IVF, where they have a very high success rate in being implemented, and that's a lot less expensive as well. And unlike IVF, it's truly medical care because basically they look at the woman and say, well, what's going on? Why can't she have a baby? And they try to fix it medically. It's not like they're just bypassing the whole system, impregnating, getting an egg fertilized, and then inserting the zygote. They're actually trying to get the woman to actually reproduce naturally, try to get her body to behave the way it ought to behave. And one of them is actually working on men's infertility too, but I'll get into those in a little bit. The next event we're having next month is going to be about adoption. Mark Holmes is a minor celebrity in the adoption world. He's pretty well known in the state. He's actually done a couple talks outside of the state. And we have him coming again. He'll be at Denny's. He's going to talk about adoption. So if you have any questions, this will be a great time to come listen to hear what he has to say and then get your questions answered. And the month after that, September, we're going to have a Zoom conference with Bridget Van Means. For those of you who don't know, she used to work with Thrive, and she's one of the ones who was instrumental in banning abortion in Missouri. So we're going to have her come down and talk about what she thinks we as South Carolina need to do in order to get abortion banned in this state. And she is speaking from success. Regretfully, they made it a constitutional law, and a lot of her work got done, but that doesn't change the fact that she was actually able to get the law passed. And I think it speaks a lot to the desperation for those that are pro-abortion or going in order and what they did to overturn her success. But she does know what success looks like, and we're going to try and see if we can't learn anything from her. Moving on to some information. It's been very interesting in the last 2 weeks. One event I don't have up is on my website yet because I just got informed Christy Brown is having a statewide Respect Life meeting on 2 August. The next couple of days I will have that information on the event page. See, Flourish. Oh, there's two Flourishes. Flourish Adoptions just opened up a charity bookstore. Gently used books, really good prices. They had their opening just a few days ago. They're having a charity art auction coming up on the 2nd of August. You do have to register to join that, and again on my website you have the links to register and get some more information on that. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 25 July. The auction's 25 July. I got my dates confused. Also want to point out the Greenville County Legislative Delegation is meeting on the 28th of July. That's a great way to reach out and talk to those that represent us in Columbia. Definitely want to get pro-lifers a chance to talk there. You have to register to talk. I have the email address that you need to contact them on my website. But you can go there, and if there's any topic you want Columbia to know about, this is an excellent opportunity to go and talk to.
This is like if you've never attended, it's like a public not forum, but as Greenville citizens, you are able to sign up and speak, and you can speak about pretty much anything in front of our whole Greenville legislative delegation, which is all our Greenville House members and senators. I don't know the deadline passed to sign up to speak. It's about a month in advance or so. I'll have to look up, but they do it quarterly. So if you're ever interested to just talk about anything, put them on notice, make requests. If you make requests to your legislators in private and maybe you have no success, or you do, you can then stand in the whole delegation, in front of the whole delegation, and just bring up the same issue, or thank them, or tell them how disappointed you are. Either way, that is your opportunity to publicly address your legislators.
Getting onto some of these alternative methods to IVF, NAPRO technology has been around for quite a while. It focuses mainly on the woman. It has a very high success rate, and it's more than just reproductive with NAPRO technology. Menstrual cramping, pain, menopause, a lot of these issues are either preventable or at least shouldn't be as serious as they are. NAPRO technology, what's going on in the real world is the doctor just gives you the abortion pill gives a woman an abortion pill for any and every reproductive related issue that she has. NAPRO technology, again, they're saying this isn't right. There's something wrong with the woman. We shouldn't be covering it up. We should actually fix what's there. And the technology has come a long, long way. Within the last week, I heard about another one. It's called Restorative Reproductive Medicine, or RRM. And basically, from what I have been able to learn from them, they're saying a lot of the same things that I already know exist for NAPRO technology. But they do appear to be working on men's infertility as well, not just the woman. There is a bill right now in DC. It's called the Reproductive Empowerment and Support Through Optimal Restoration Act, or also known as the Restore Act. Don't confuse it with Cruz's Restore Act. This is the second Restore Act. This one was created by Representatives Harshberger and Moore. Harshberger's from Tennessee and Moore's from West Virginia. It's HR 3589. And on the Senate side, Hyde Smith from Mississippi and Langford from Oklahoma have submitted a similar bill. Although it's my understanding that it still hasn't been formalized, so there's not a number to go with it yet. But this is something that I think would be very good for us to support. It would encourage funding to heal. It would encourage funding to develop NAPRO and RRM and similar technologies to really do real healthcare and try and figure out what's wrong with the human body. Why aren't people able to reproduce on their own? And to me, that's healthcare. Killing a baby or inserting a zygote, to me, that's not healthcare. But anyway, let's see. On 1st of July, the Department of Public Health finally published the 2024 results on the abortion data. There was a decline of 63% from 2023 to 2024. Now, there is some controversy on
And
this.
is that statewide?
Yeah, this is a Department of Public Health, so they contacted all the medical facilities in the state.
In the state?
Yeah,
Wow.
for South Carolina. Now, there is some controversy on this. People are saying, well, the people who aren't getting the abortions here are taking it elsewhere. Well, my reaction to that is, so what? Abortion tourism is nothing new. We've dealt with that forever. We actually were a tourist state for abortion at one
Just-
time,
Was it a year?
2 years
2
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
I'm with you. So not who cares, but we're doing our job, right?
Yeah.
It's like what we tell people within Greenville GOP. We cannot be, Jeff or myself, we cannot be taking care of every issue. We delegate, right? So we are taking care of South Carolina, and now it's up to the others. If people are coming to us to have abortions, we fixed it. Now, if they go somewhere else, it's up to that state to fix it.
Once we get our own house in order, then we can help other states get their
Exactly.
house in order. Another issue is the illegal abortion bill. You have to see a doctor. In this state, you have to see a doctor in order to get an abortion pill because all the other requirements can't be done online. So anytime someone does mail order abortion pill, they're acting illegally. That's another controversial topic. But again, my opinion is, so what? People are going to do. You don't create laws to stop people from doing illegal activities. You create laws so that you can give people who do bad things a reason not to. In other words, being punished. Sorry.
Question. I 100% agree with that, but there is something that's known in the medical profession as telehealth, where they can actually see a doctor online. So those doctors are technically not breaking that law.
But for abortion,
Because-
you have to have ultrasounds, and there's some other things have to be provided. And I find it impossible. I don't know how you could possibly have an ultrasound done without, sitting at home over a computer.
But the doctor just has to order.
But she still has to have an ultrasound at some point. And the doctor in this state, the doctor also has to be approved by a DPW. They have to be licensed in the state, and they have to have DPW. DPH has to be involved as well. So basically, within the state, abortion is limited to within the state. And in that case, even if they were able to meet all these hurdles, then it would just, then it would show up in these reports, and the controversy would go away as far as to whether the numbers are accurate or not. And that's the biggest thing, is they're debating the numbers, saying, well, these laws really aren't doing any good. It's like, well, they seem to be doing good to me because people are having to really go out of their way. They just, they're just not walking down the street seeing a Planned Parenthood sign and deciding, oh, this is the solution to my problem.
Absolutely. It may not be perfect, but we're making progress.
Yes. Okay. Of course, most of you, I'm sure, already know the big, beautiful bill banned funding for Planned Parenthood. They only did it for 1 year, not the intended 10. And there's a lot of stuff going on with that. Planned Parenthood has sued them, even though just a few weeks ago, SCOTUS said that no, absolutely, taxpayer, you are not entitled to taxpayer dollars. Literally weeks ago, the SCOTUS told Planned Parenthood that, and then now they're suing the big, beautiful bill for the same thing, but at a national level instead of a state level. But they're using, they still have federal money right now, so if they want to spend it on attorneys, that's one of the reasons why we need to defund them, is because they're becoming this juggernaut at the taxpayer's expense. However, but the suing doesn't bother me too much because, like I said, SCOTUS already weighed in on that a few weeks ago, and they were rather blunt in what they had to say. There really wasn't a whole lot of controversy. What I'm concerned about is next year, Planned Parenthood is going to mobilize everybody and get their representatives and senators saying, fund it, fund it, fund it. So that's something that we need to do, is tell them, no, defund it again. So
That exactly brings the point to when not settled, don't stop, right? We elected President Trump, and some people just sat back on the couch and they feel like he's going to fix everything for us. We have our county, state, cities to take care of. We all always preach to people when we elect good people to any type of level of government, city, county,
Gotta stay on.
state. You're gonna stay on them because someone is staying on them. It can be us, or it can be the lobbyists or the Democrats. They are listening to someone, and it better be us, because otherwise, if they don't hear from us and they hear from someone saying fund, well, no one tells me not to fund. Well, why not, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And there is wrong.
I also want to add, I think the timing of that, knocking it on the 10 for 1 year is an election issue. It's coming up in the midterms, right? And so our Republicans, friends, call them friends, set themselves up for a bad election. You know, why did they do that?
Yeah. The parole boards have a killer instinct. They're not content with merely beating someone. They want to destroy them. That's something, and it's not that I want you to do anything immoral, but we need to be that way. We just can't say, oh, it's a big, beautiful bill, defunded Planned Parenthood for a year, I've done my job. It's like, no, we got to get to where it's permanently defunded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not over. Is that it?
Yes, thank you
Well,
very
so
much.
I'm gonna remind people about the website once again. I'm gonna put it up.
Would you read it out?
Yes, so the website is GCRP is pro-life. Spell it out, GCRP is prolife.com, and there is the events tab. Every event that Ray was just talking about is on there, but the one that he just found out, but still he's going to add it. And I'm kind of laughing inside, not laughing, but I'm so happy because when Carrie decided to step down, I was kind of sad that she was doing such an excellent job. And in my head, I thought there is no way anyone was going to fill in her shoes. And there is Ray doing absolutely excellent job keeping us updated with all the pro-life things and issues, and just representing GCRP and the pro-life movement so well. So thank you. It's great. And again, if you're watching online and you would like to join our pro-life committee, or just join Ray and others that go to the abortion clinic in Greenville and pray, and or get involved in other way, you can email us, you can contact Ray, and just let us know, and the more the merrier. So we would love to have you. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, what else do we have? Anyone else? Any questions? Any?
Well, I'll talk about a little bit about what we're going to roll out.
Okay.
So we're talking about, Allen was talking about with Spartanburg that we were going to, that you needed a big ground force of people. So our goal, our 2027 reorg is 5,000 people. That's 33 people per precinct, which is probably really not a lot of people.
No.
If you just get 33 people in every precinct to come out and vote, we'll have 5,000 people. So we're going to start rolling out some ideas to each of the precincts. Precinct president and EC will be at the ground level. We'll go to the zone. We're going to hope to have more zone meetings where we can get more people to come in. We're also going to focus on newly registered people. People are coming in here all the time and registering, but we don't know who they are. We're going to try to get them on board, find out whether they're leaning Republican or Democrat, first of all, and then try to, from there, try to get them involved in their precincts and then into the zone. If they want to volunteer here too, that'd be great. But the idea is just to get them to go to vote. That's the most important part. You just need the people to show up and vote.
Voter turnout. So again, growing GCRP membership, what really helps with is the voter turnout, because when they become members of GCRP, they hear from us.
And they feel that they're involved.
Right, and they are being educated on elections. They are just getting more involved. And what we learned from the past, when people, they feel like they're almost like becoming responsible for something because now they're part of the movement, even though they're responsible just like being citizens and voters. But belonging to the party somehow makes it more special and important. So Tommy and the team is working on that. Jeff, 2 days ago, first time in 10 days or whatever, look at his phone and starting or getting this committee going was one of the first things he did.
Yeah.
Just setting up some tools and stuff. So everyone is ready to get going.
That's still always gonna get all the tools, like you said, set up, all the data, getting in one place, and then we're gonna start hitting it hard. We're trying to get it even for the, this coming election coming up.
Remember, in November, we have municipal elections. We have 2 county council
Right.
that are being, they're contested elections against Democrats. So you'll be hearing definitely within the next few weeks more about those 2 races. It's for city of Greenville. I don't know, is anyone here from the city, but there's 1 city council at large seat and 1 city council district 2. We are challenging, they're basically general elections for Democrat, Republican. There are other 2 elections for another city council district and water commissioner. They're not challenged, just 2 Republicans are running, so we don't have to worry about those 2. But the 2, we have opportunity to flip Greenville red. If you know, the Greenville city became blue under Jeff's predecessor, and it's amazing they let that happen. But we're going to fix it, and we are going to flip Greenville red again and go from there. Again, is that going to fix all the issues in the city? No, but at least it will be a start to having better votes on the Greenville City Council, because so far, whether they're Democrats or Republican, when you go to Greenville City Council meetings, they all vote the same way. There's literally, you will not be able to tell from the votes who is who. And I think the people that are running, especially one of them, will definitely shake things up to at least put people on notice how you're supposed to vote the right way if you're Republican. So we're very excited about that. And whether you live in the city or not, we will be asking for help just from the door knocking perspective and things like that. So you will hear about that soon. Any questions? No. Yes.
Just real quick, just to add to that. So in addition to Greenville and County Council, all municipalities are having elections coming next fall. Simpsonville, Wards 2, 4, and 6 are all up for re-election. I think Ward 2 is okay with their own group. The 4 and 6, we really get to have some candidates for. And the reason that we don't think about that, we think about the county council selling off to whatever developer wants to come into town. The city council is doing it too. So Simpsonville just sold some property they had as far as big development downtown. Greer and their sports complex that they're coming up with. So if you know somebody who might be good as a candidate for city council in any of the outlying areas, please let us know, let me know, because we need to find candidates to replace some of these folks.
Jim is part of the Greenville GOP recruitment committee. I'm on it too. We have 2 other members. So that's what Jim is talking about. If you know anyone, just that it's worth talking to, meaning you think they would either have good information about people in the city or municipalities or may be interested in running, you can contact one of us, let us know, and we will be happy to have a conversation with them and see what we can encourage more people to run. We have some candidates that are interested, but we need more, like with everything. So if you read the news yesterday, and I don't know what people pay attention to, but this is something that's been talked about in the past, so I thought it would be interesting to bring it up again. The first step program. Have you heard about it? So you probably heard Jeff talking about it in the past. First Step program was started, or it was a darling of Senator Vincent Shaheen. He was out of Kershaw, big Democrat. He ran for governor at some point. He was the one actually that created a kind of a very not nice slogan against Nikki Haley. I'm not going to repeat it because it wasn't nice. But anyway, big Democrat. He was voted out a few years ago, so he's not in the legislature anymore. But First Step program, it's basically something to do with giving little kids, you're talking before they start school, some reading readiness program. But again, government-run entity. Who would want that for your 2-year-old, 3-year-old to be already being, indoctrinated or whatever you want to call it by government? But that was out there, and when was it? The last year. So the program passed at some point, and it was a proviso. What it means is there are permanent laws and provisos. When there is a proviso, that means that every session, the law is a temporary law proviso, which means there is a law in place, but every year the legislature has to renew it. If they don't renew it, the law goes away. So sometimes when their legislature is testing any law, they would make it a proviso so they can see how it works. They will fix it at something, and before they make it a permanent law. So the permanent law is out there forever. So First Steps was a proviso for a while, and I don't see a date. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, not a long time ago. One of the Freedom Caucus members decided to be a sponsor for First Steps to become a permanent law, which was a shocker to us because, again, it's a government-run program, which anyone but, Freedom Caucus should be against, anything run by government. We are for free market, private entities. But they did, and what we discovered, the reason when we challenged some of the Freedom Caucus members, why they would make it a permanent law, the explanation was absolutely bizarre. Apparently, there was an issue, and I don't know specifically what happened, but so it's a state law, but every county have a First Step program, right? So every county would have a program. They would have a director to run that reading readiness program. In Greenwood County, there was an issue of embezzlement in the program. There was an issue with the program was allowed to spend whatever 6% of, I think, administrative fees. It was 8%, and I think there was an issue of that being abused. Whatever reason, they decided there was an issue, so Freedom Caucus filed a bill to make the program permanent. Exactly the opposite from what you would expect to do. When there is an embezzlement issue, obviously you want to investigate it and definitely not make it a permanent law. They pushed for that law to become permanent. Not only that, they increased the First Step overhead administrative fee from 8% to 13%, which is 62% increase. So you're talking, there's a government-run program, there are issues with it, there's embezzlement issue, let's make it permanent and give them more money. That was the solution. Not only that, what was changed in the law from proviso to become a permanent law, which absolutely was mind-boggling to us, they made a clause in it that every First Step program will have to hire a library employee to be part of the program. Have we been recently to public libraries, and do we know anything about their employees?
Yes.
And have we had concerns about them before? because we
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah.
So there was a section, public library employees to be appointed, I'm sorry, not hired, but appointed to all 46 First Steps partnerships, 46 counties. And that was, again, led by Freedom Caucus. We were absolutely upheld by it. That's when Jeff was challenging Freedom Caucus about it. And the explanations were just, well, we're trying to fix the program, so that's why we're making these changes. Yes, sir.
So this money is coming from the state budget, which our taxes pay.
Correct. Government. Right. So, yes, it's one of those programs that you want to pull your hair out of. A lot of money being spent on nothing and people taking advantage of it. Well, why I'm bringing it up again, not again, yesterday, Fitz News published an article, South Carolina educat arrested on fraud charges.
So imagine that.
Yes.
Jeez.
Another example, remember, Freedom Caucus made this program permanent, gave the program more money, 63% increase. They added that the program has to appoint library employees to the leadership roles. And there is yesterday, the former executive director of Kershaw County First Step program has been arrested and charged with multiple counts of breach and trust fraud. The private, Kimberly Jordan, deprived the local office of this government-run school readiness program of approximately $184,000 as a result of a variety of schemes per the news release from the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division. I mean, here we are today, and I'm just laughing because, I hate to say it, but Jeff Davis was always right. Like, people keep saying it. It's like when the law first passed, people were like, why you're picking on Freedom Caucus? Jeff's like, why would we not? If the Democrats pushed for that program to be permanent, we would expect it and understand it, right? That's what they want. This is not what Freedom Caucus should be about. And now they did it because there were issues in Greenville. 2 years later, same issue. Well, I don't know if it's the same issue, but more issue with the same program.
Well, we know the Freedom Caucus is nothing but a bunch of rhinos anyway.
I just, again, I'm not going to go there, but that was one of those examples. I'm like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And they couldn't. And yesterday, another reason why we shouldn't make sense of it. It was just purely wrong. And on a personal note, what I'm laughing at is, the big, our big issue with the government-run school choice when they were taking too much money out of the program, and there is over $250,000 that were taken out of the program inappropriately away from kids, and we never got any arrest on that. It's still not being fixed, and this lady is being arrested of misappropriating or taking $184,000, but exception SC misappropriated, from my understanding, over $250,000, and nothing was done about it. And I'm going to throw it out there that these two people that I look up, the executive director from Greenville and this woman, they're all Black people, but exceptional SC, I'm just going to say it, they're all kind of involved in politics and have connections with our legislature, and no one is being held accountable for the over $250,000 being taken away from special needs students. So next year or this next year from now will be very interesting when people will be running for different positions, including the current Attorney General running for governor. And some of these issues will be brought up to light again because, again, I'm never going to settle if the over $250,000 is going to get returned to kids. And good thing in South Carolina, there is no statute of limitations on criminal cases, so it may not be fixed today, but hopefully it will get fixed one day. And speaking of fixing things, If you had been around the Greenville GOP for a while, you may have been around when we had, at the time, Democrat David Pasco, solicitor, come and speak to us on corruption. If you missed the news, David Pasco officially became a Republican a few months ago, which we were very pleased to hear. And we are going to host Mr. David Pasco again in Greenville. He has an updated presentation for us. If you saw last time, David Pasco is a current solicitor, and he presented to us a lot of corruption issues that happened in judicial system in South Carolina. And if you remember or didn't see his presentations, he named names. He showed pictures of people, Democrats and Republicans, and he is not shy about it. And it was the most eye-opening presentation to me and many others. I knew of a lot of these problems. He just brought it up, and he's so excited because he has more for us. So on August 18th, let me make sure I have the date right, because we haven't, it's just brand new. Yes, August 18th, that will be a Monday at 6 p.m. We will have Solicitor Pasco at the downtown Greenville Library.
Okay.
And we are so excited.
What time is it?
6 p.m.
6
Great.
And anyone is welcome. Event is free. And we are very happy to have him back. And now he won't be, no one should be giving us a hard time because he's a Republican. Even back then, we did not have regrets. He was coming as a solicitor. He was not coming as a Republican. As a Democrat. And there were people in the audience, including current sitting legislators, that literally were so angry with Jeff for hosting a Democrat. But they luckily sat through the presentation, and after the presentation, took it back and told Jeff, thank you for having him, because it was eye-opening. And I'm just so excited what he's going to present to us this time.
Do we have the RSVP?
We will think about it. Again, that was just confirmed recently. We haven't even put it out on the website. You're getting the fresh off the
Heads
press
up.
news. If we will have RSVP, will send out the link, but that's going to, we know the date now, we have the place booked, and the speaker is confirmed. So that is what we do. Any questions about that? If not, I'm going to talk about one more event, and this is from our friends in Pickens County. If you remember the issues at the state convention that happened with Pickens, how the state party refused to seat the Pickens delegates because for whatever accusations and issues. Well, I'm looking up the event picture so I can give our friends online specific details. Pickens Republicans and United, that is a group that is hosting the event. If you're aware or not aware, at the last state executive committee meeting, the state executive committee meeting voted to suspend the Pickens Republican Party. So technically they're sitting on the sidelines. They're not supposed to use their name, their website, nothing. So some of our friends in Pickens created a group called Pickens Republican State United. And anyone and everyone is invited to a meeting that will happen next Friday, July 18th at 6 p.m. No, it's 6:30 p.m. Doors open at 6. it is going to be in Pickens at the Haygoods Community Center Auditorium, 129 Schoolhouse Street. And I'm going to read this exactly what the meeting is about. Special presentation, suspension of justice, the truth uncovered, plus other important updates. An evening with JP Raleigh. Join us for an eye-opening evening with JP Raleigh, author of the Pickens County Report. If you haven't read blah, blah, blah. So JP Raleigh is a delegate from a different county that attended the convention and took notes, recordings, and issue a very detailed report from his observation, what happened at the state convention and why Pickens GOP delegates were not seated. I'm told that he took it to the level that he had a recording of the voice vote that was determining whether the delegates were going to get seated or not. And he somehow processed the recording with some technology that reveals whether the call was right or not, that they were seated or not.
Was it by voice? Was it by,
I think it was
I mean,
voice,
by
eyes and nays.
so you do a volume. That's all you gotta do is check the volume of it.
Right, and
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's what he did.
Yeah.
I don't know the details, but it sounds like it's going to be an exciting event. And as I'm speaking here, I'm going to share with our friends online that they can see the event. And maybe they can join our Pickens friends. And
Do we have to get tickets?
I am not aware that there is a place to reserve tickets. So I'm sharing online, Friday, July 18th, Pickens County, suspension of justice, the truth uncovered. Sounds very,
And what was the address of Haggard's Auditorium?
it is
Community Center, 139 Schoolhouse Street.
129.
129?
Yeah, I said 30, I'm sorry. It's 129 Schoolhouse Street. And we'll send out in the email as well, so all our friends can attend and join. Perfect. All right, who is next? Who wants to talk? Any issues, questions, anything you would like to share? How was your 4th of July weekend? Very nice. We were hunkered down. It was the day after Jeff came back from the hospital. So, all right. Well, thank you for being here. We'll be in touch on some candidates.
Just here, quick announcement, legislative committee meeting next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock. There'll be more, if you're on the chats, they'll send out more, an agenda and a reminder that it's happening next Thursday, 7 p.m. here, and it will also be on Zoom. Just informational, that's all it in at this point. Thank you.
So,
We need, it's simple bill, it's a good point about if they are selling stuff, we need people in municipalities to watch the municipalities and what's going on. Big surprise in Simpsonville, they basically came way downtown to a developer, so.
if you couldn't hear, the GCRP Legislative Committee will be meeting next Thursday here at the Greenville County Republican Party headquarters. That is Thursday, July 17th. What time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
1,900 hours.
1,900 hours. And anyone is welcome. The
On Zoom too, and there'll be a link sent out if you're on the chats.
Yes, there will be links sent out to the Zoom. You are able to tune in online if you cannot attend in person. The Legislative Committee covers, again, from the bottom of the municipalities issues to then county, state, federal, and we do always seek for new members to join at any level. If you have passion, again, municipalities, join us. We need people to attend meetings and report back. Frank is only
Follow the issue. If you have passion on an issue, follow the issue from municipalities up to fed.
Right.
So we want people following that. We need eyes, ears, hands, feet, working on stuff. So that's what the meeting's about, trying to get people engaged and go from there. And if you're not, we have a legislative chat specifically. If you're not on that, come to me, I'll get you on it, and you'll get that specifically. But then also on the precinct chats, I will be announcing the meeting too. Okay?
Right. So as Frank mentioned, you can either have a level of government that you're interested in, or you can have an issue. As you are probably sick of hearing it, Jeff and I do school choice, and we know a lot, if not everything, what's happening in school choice from there's nothing kind of county or municipal, but the state, now federal level, and we take charge of that, and we report on school choice on these levels. So if you have an issue that you are interested in or you know about, we would love for you to be that person to report to Frank.
And the idea also of the committees, if you have an issue, this is a place where you can come and get help on
Yes.
that issue. We can get call to action, get other people involved in other counties too. So this is a tool and a focus to get your issue brought to bear. You follow it and then ask for what help and tools you need to get this issue going, to fight it, whatever direction you want to take it. So come to the meeting and have some fun.
Even if you have not been involved, there is an issue that you're interested in and you don't know how to go about it. You don't know how to make a change. It could be we can train you how to write a law that then we take it to our legislators, and you may have a bill to file and then follow what happens with it. Like, we have learned all these little tools that can be helpful, so don't be intimidated if you don't know or haven't been involved, haven't done anything, but there's that issue that you would like to explore. I saw actually one legislator posted the other day, maybe yesterday, interesting issue. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So there was, in a different state, I don't remember what state, passed that if you're pregnant, you will be allowed to be issued a plaque like handicapped people have for, I don't know, is it throughout the whole pregnancy or at the end of it, that you will be able to park in the handicapped spots with your plaque that you are, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, just for, people or ladies and females. And advanced pregnant, yes. And this legislator was like, wow, actually, I think it's a great idea. I'm going to start drafting a bill to make it happen in South Carolina.
It is a good one. God, really, you're in pain at that point.
There you go.
I know of one company that I used to work at or for, and they made that a matter of policy in that, as long as there was a handicap space available, they could park in those areas.
Okay.
And so, it's got a lot of companies and people thinking about it as a good thing to do. Because not all the handicapped spaces are filled.
Exactly. Speaking of handicapped spaces, it was eye-opening, and for Terry, she is handicapped technically, and she has her permit, and she came to visit Jeff at the hospital. If you've ever been downtown at Memorial Prisma Hospital, the parking deck, the pool, but one row at the bottom is for handicap, and it's unbelievable how many handicap are there. You're talking about tens of, I don't know how many. I will have to count. And for Terry, she couldn't even find a spot. She had to park at the third level of the parking deck with elevator being out. That is how much she likes Jeff. She still made the trip, and that was her commitment to coming and visit. It was awful from that perspective. But anyway, so sounds like you guys you think it's a good idea with the handicap for the pregnant?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For
The
sure.
handicap parking falls under the American Disabilities Act. So in the past, pregnancy would not be involved because it's not a handicap. It's not a disability.
Correct,
It's a medical condition.
correct.
And so that's why it's always been an issue, but I think it's a very good thing to put in place.
Good. Well, we may have another bill. We might be supporting it. It comes actually up next session, which one of the legislators indicated he will be drafting it. So very good. Any other thoughts?
Go back to Greenville when the races come out, Greenville City and all that. What,
Can I have it?
no, turn off volumes. I was wondering about Knox White. Do we have any relationship at all with Knox? I mean, the town turned blue under him. Because he's blue.
Any thoughts on that?
I think it'd be very hard to find somebody to knock him out of his seat simply because of his record.
Right, and I am told that he will not be running for re-election.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What?
Yes,
He will not be
This
running.
is his last term.
that this is his last term.
So when does that end?
I'm not sure exactly when it ends. I guess whenever the next mayoral race is up.
He's been there forever.
That's the same
It
with
feels
the
like it.
mayor of Greer. He's been in it a long time. He said this is his last time.
Wow.
And I also know that he's fought with county council. So that might have been still red. But I knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm
That's shocking
finding
news.
things out.
Yeah, interesting.
That's,
That will be interesting, and
Yes.
yeah, it'd be great.
it will be interesting to see who's going to run for the mayor. And I'm hearing different rumors, and some of them are good. Whether there's some words of some Democrats running, and there's some words that of some Republicans running, but unfortunately, even the ideas of specific Republicans running are not really exciting. Because as we know, the mayor technically is Republican, but we know how that has worked out for us. So we will see. One of the county council that is running against to fill Rasmus Stoll's seat, the Republican candidate. If I'm not mistaken, he has been endorsed by Knox White, which is encouraging, but it's also concerning, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's encouraging in the sense that he's still a Republican running against a very blue Democrat, Tina Belgi, that I got to know a little bit during her previous runs for different things. Matt Alexander is running for against Tina, and I'm told that Knox endorsed him. I think Matt used to work for Knox. Probably that's why. But it's encouraging that at least Knox is endorsing a Republican, not a Democrat. Because in the last race, Knox did endorse Rasmus Stoll, who was a Democrat. So that's kind of encouraging, but it also is a little concerning about, when you get Knox's endorsement,
What do you
that
get?
tells you that's
What do you
something.
get?
Tells you something.
But we'll see.
Um,
I will see.
see how we'll see
happen,
how
and
what's going to happen,
We'll
and
go from there once we
we'll go from there once we once we get things going, again, election turnout is our main issue and concern. We need to educate voters that we have elections coming in November, the municipal elections, and we need to make sure that people know and they can go vote. So that's where we're going to pay attention to. And I just got a message from Becky that they actually crossed the $1,000 ticket reservation, and I hope that does indicate the interest in the elections, and that indicates that the turnout for the special election will be better than average. Maybe people are waking up.
So was I right on, that's the total, at 1,000, right? You want to check with her to see?
I
Because I
asked,
thought everybody it's done at this point, and I'm not.
yeah, so I asked, they are not closing reservations yet, because even when the capacity of the venue is 1,000, the number of tickets reserved does not mean that every single person will show up. So they're not closing the reservation yet. I would keep encouraging people to, if they still want to come, don't come because you think they're at 1,000, it's max. I think they keep encouraging people to show up, because again, with that number of people, there will be hundreds that may not show up just because of life happens, or they reserve tickets just in case a friend wants to come or a husband will be available, and that may not happen. So keep signing up if you're interested. Don't stop. Anything else? Who wants to share something? I know Paul wants to talk about something. Maybe not. You're back. That's why we're excited to have Paul back.
I do want to say something about education, because, y'all are always talking about school choice and all that. I agree, everybody needs to go where they want to go, because they're not going to be happy, and they're going to give everybody hell in the classroom if they aren't where they want to be or need to be. But we need to work also on, we say that our government is zilching our education and bad. What can we do to help that? Because there's a lot of kids that can't do the private, can't do the home. I've taught in public education for 26 years, and I don't feel that I was implementing any bad things to them. I was just teaching my subject in high school. Well, what can we do to help to make the best schools, and get this opportunity? Use it as a challenge to make South Carolina schools the best schools that exist, and people, we want, good, make it good.
To go a little further on that, Shane and I have been talking about this and shared it with a few people, but school choice is a great thing. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can afford to make it happen. A lot of kids are stuck in the schools they're assigned to. Mm-hmm. We can't ignore these kids. We need to give them the best that they can possibly get. We don't want them to be a liability on us in their future. They need to be productive members of society. Absolutely. So we must educate. So how do we go about making this better? I know you dedicated school choice, and I'm sure that's very time consuming. Mm-hmm. But our concern is the kids left behind.
Sure. So I just love talking about it. So I'm glad you brought it up.
I want to talk to you about it. Really.
And I will just tell you what we did in the past. And we have many very specific examples, because this whole talking point from the Democrats mainly, but now some of the Republicans started using against school choice, is that school choice is only helping the rich, the privileged students. And it's all about the implementation. Well, school choice, in my personal understanding and what we did in the past, is to give students access to education that they need and deserve. It's not, the education is out there, We just need to make sure the right students have access to the right education. We are not against public schools, even though a lot of them are failing our students. But we're not against public schools because some of the public schools work for some of our kids, and we will never take that away. Jeff's mother had been an educator until 10 years ago, and it was always interesting to have these conversations with her because she was all about public schools. But we all agree it should be about the kids, right?
Yeah.
So what we believe in that we need private independent choice that has no strings, government strings attached, that is literally giving parent or caregiver, sometimes it's a grandparent, sometimes it's adoptive parent, guardian, to be able to provide an opportunity to send a child to receive the education that they need, whether it's homeschooling, private, public, whatever it is. And what we focused in the past, per South Carolina law, we had a school choice that was helping students with special needs. They were students with dyslexia, autism, Down syndrome, and a physical or emotional disabilities. They do have to qualify, so there was a form that they had to fill out. It started with they had to have an IEP from the public school, but Jeff sat through hours and hours in different county districts with school principals from private schools that were trying to get IEPs for her students to be able to attend a private school because in that particular district there was not a public school that was able to fulfill the needs for a specific disabilities, and it was a disaster. Some of them were better, some of them were not so good. And again, it was not about the kids. We had school principals, public school principals, that I was able to call, or they called me and said, I have this student, we cannot help him. If they could apply for a scholarship to go to private school, there is a school down the street that will take him and they will help him with the specific disability. And we made it happen. And that was actually, I'll never forget that phone call because I couldn't believe a public school principal called me and was willing to give up that student because that also means he's not getting the funding anymore, which we're discovering it's all about the funding. Mm-hmm. They just want the money. He was about that child. And the child qualified. We gave him $10,000 scholarship and he was good. So and when I say we, Jeff and I run organization to implement, there were 5 organizations in the state that were implementing those, the school choice program at the time. When we got in trouble, we were able to tell some of the schools, and there were a few schools in Greenville, I don't want to mention names right now, that we didn't think their students should, when the money was limited, we had to prioritize who gets the scholarships first. If there was enough money for every child, I don't care if you can afford private school, I'm still going to give it to you because there is enough money. If money was limited, we were going to prioritize. And we had to say no to some students and some schools. And we were never asking for financial information from parents, but we were relying on schools' information to help us prioritize. And some people got upset that we were not going to give some kids money, or we told them if we will get enough money for everyone, we will get back to you. But today we have a priority of helping a student that a mom found him sleeping with a knife because he was suicidal. And we want to get him out of a public school and put him in school on the farm, where it was a school that actually Jeff's late classmate, he passed since, he had a farm and he donated it for use for a private school that they had kids come in and take care of animals between schoolwork, and they were getting healed from whatever issues they were dealing with. Yes, Anne-Marie, you had a
Well, I'm not, my background is not in the public school system, so you may be able to say otherwise, but you mentioned that they called you, and that was incredible because they weren't getting those funds. So when there's school choice, is it not true that they can go to even another district? And if those districts are offering better programs that the parents have the choice to be able to send them to, then the district that they leave will lose those funds. So there's a money incentive there for the schools to do better.
correct.
In the competitive market. Is
So
that correct? or-
yes, and I believe we do have certain school choice in place. Like I know high school kids here, even if their district, they live in Wade Hampton, they can go somewhere else, right? So we have some of that school choice.
The- The caveat to that is if there's a slot available.
Has to be
Correct.
available.
Just because it's the best program, if it's filled, they can't go.
But so to answer your question, to begin with, I do truly believe that competition makes things better. And if I'm going to say it again, we are not against public schools, but they could be better.
Well, they could be a lot better.
Right. Or how do we make them look better?
That's
Maybe-
our question. First our
Maybe
question.
because if students do leave, it's like, think about private schools. They are good because they have to compete for the students. And they have to offer something good for a parent to come and pay the money for the students to be there. Public schools, they don't have to compete today. They're just getting the funding. I don't know for last year, I haven't checked, but do you know how much public school gets every year in South Carolina for a student? What is the number? What would you
I don't
guess?
remember what it
It's
is.
probably a good bit.
Yeah.
Like, where, how much?
Maybe.
20,000.
It's anywhere between $17,000 and $20,000. When you go to Hope Academy, if you know Hope Academy in Greenville, they take care of autistic students. Excellent job. Or Shannon Forest Christian School, or Oakview Academy in Simpsonville. There are other, and don't quote me on it, it's been 2 years since I actually checked the specific amounts, what they charge for tuition, but you can get child in one of the schools for about $10,000. So there's a
Per year, right?
per year.
Per year,
Yes.
Per year.
So there's an option for you as a parent. You can be given that scholarship and you send your child to a school that, number one, fits their needs, whatever it is. When children have ADD or any learning disability, so often we've learned all they need is a small class setting. That's all. It sometimes it doesn't require special training. Often does, but not always. Our dyslexia students, Camperdown Academy, I don't know what they're at now. When we were working with them, $20,000 a year. Chandler School, I think 25. Unbelievable. But guess what? You would think, who can afford that? Rich parents. I cannot mention names, but
You get scholarships.
we had this family. It was a grandmother taking care of her grandson, having custody. He was super dyslexic, failing public schools. They were black too. The headmaster from Chandler School came to us, said, "We have this family. If I could get $10,000 scholarship for him, I will cover the rest. Like we will find money. Obviously, they cannot cover all 25,000, but 10,000 helps." We did that. Every time the grandmother knew we were coming to visit the school, she was coming with egg salad sandwiches for Jeff. That was her way of saying thank you. Because she knew he loves egg salad sandwiches. And again, we don't need thank you, but that was her way. There was no other way her grandson would graduate from.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of kids.
Part of the problem we have in our public school system is they turn around and taken out the incentive for these students to even attempt to learn.
That's one-
No Child Left Behind was the biggest problem this country has ever developed. And the schools, my father retired, he's in his 80s now, but he used to teach at school on the side. And they tried to get him to he'd come in and substitute. They tried to convince him to become a permanent teacher. He was like, no, because you won't let me fail the kids that don't do nothing. You won't let me discipline them. I have to let them sit there and disrupt the class. No, I'm not doing it. You take those three things out of the problem right there, and that will start solving the kids who can learn. You
Now,
got problems.
I'm sorry, they expect the teachers to take care of it.
That's-
You don't
that's-
get the back.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Depends on who you-
The teachers are not allowed to fail these children. Even if they don't turn any work in, you have to give them at least a minimum of 50.
That's only in
Just
middle
for showing
school. That's middle school, not high school.
Yeah.
Because I gave a lot of zeros. A lot of zeros.
I'm telling you, this is, how long you been retired now?
1 year.
But if the public school system.
It depends, I guess, on the school.
That money shifts from the poorer systems to the better systems, to the better schools. And the better schools are able then to grow, to make room for those. So there's an incentive for those poorer schools to do better.
To do better,
to
yeah.
compete.
And you know, if
That's not gonna happen as long as you have discipline problems.
it could be a harsh reality for some time, right? Because they will just lose the funding. But how do you get the funding back? You just become better, and there's no other choice. What's their reason to become better today? They're not. They
There's no
don't.
incentive.
The money should
One
go
of the
with the
major
children,
problems
not with the school.
One of the major problems you have with that, the schools designate, this child is designated which school they're gonna go to by geocode.
Right.
We know that within the community, there are areas that socially and economically deprived as opposed to areas that are very well off. And so with being assigned by geocode, you have schools with real problems. It's a public school because they have to be in the community, but they're really depressed in that community.
Yes.
So how do you overcome that? The money's there, but the parents, I'm going to say, don't care, or they work so hard they can't care because there's no time left, or they got kids that are in gangs or groups that don't care, and there's the incentive not to do that because you can make a better living doing illegal things. You got to overcome this, and this is a big part of the poor districts. No matter how much money you throw at it, you've got socioeconomic issues that must be resolved first.
But that's the point. Unless they have the incentive, as long as they're getting free money for doing what they're doing, there's no incentive for them to get better.
So we have a few schools, private schools. One in Berkeley County. Dr. Teresa Middleton started the school. Her father used to be a sharecropper on the land, and now she's running school. I don't know specifically the public school situation in that area, but I would think it's not good. She takes the kids out and she takes them to her school. And I believe when there is an option, a private option for kids to go to in those areas, I mean, we may bring down the public school to get shut down because there is not enough students to attend, but that is how you do it. And it's about the kids.
That follows the same thing I'm saying. You know,
Well, we just have to make sure. Another example from Hilton Head. We had a great school there, and the headmaster kept telling us, it breaks my heart to see kids being bused to a public school that is failing them down the street or farther away where they live, walking distance from my school. And I know I could take care of them and help them, but I just don't have the money. And with a program that would fund the 10,000, 7,000 scholarship a year, those kids can can come.
Well,
And but think about, yeah, you being a teacher, you probably have
it'll go back to
input
the
on
states
that.
like it's supposed to. Department of Education didn't exist before the 70s.
Right.
It was,
And that's
so
when all the problems.
that's when everything started. That's when everything started. And here's most of you probably, I don't know what your
Max Heller
political
was the first.
beliefs or how much you understand the social communist manifestos. Their idea was to
Max Heller.
dumb the kids down. If you can continue to dumb a generation down, the dumber that generation gets, the easier it is to control them. That's what they're doing now. They tried to do it to our generations. It didn't work because we were smart enough to pay attention. But now these kids coming out of school,
So we have.
hell, they barely can tie their damn shoes and put a belt on and hold their pants up.
And I know there are teachers that are teachers by heart and at any level of schools, whether it's private, public. I get it. I do believe from just economical perspective that teachers in private schools are more not, again, that's a very general statement, because private schools pay less than public schools. So I think you make a sacrifice when you go to private school from the financial perspective. But we have heard over and over and over, people made that sacrifice because private schools were allowed them to teach. There was not the bureaucracy. There was not all the other issues they had to deal with as a teacher in private schools that they were required to do in public schools other than teach. When you look at the numbers, if let's pretend that in South Carolina, the $20,000 a year per pupil per year, if you have 20 students in the class, that's $400,000. Where, like, think about it. What can you do with $400,000 for 20 students in the classroom?
Hell,
Like,
they did.
What? Where is the money? I mean, we know where the money is. It's the buildings. It's the administrative. Yeah, you can sit here and talk.
First of all, I mean, before I moved here, I was on the school board, just for your information. I had never been to a school board meeting until I got elected. But when I got elected, I was one of the few business people on that school board. I have a big business background. And when I got on there, I didn't know anything about what's going on. So I spent my first year trying to figure out, okay, what is going on here? And it didn't take me long to find out that the school was a big problem because the superintendent was running the school board. Okay, how many of you have gotten a job where when you went to work, you became the boss of the people that hired you? That's what happens in schools, folks. And the other thing that we gotta do is get the government the hell out of school. Get them out of the money. Take the federal government and tell them, we don't want your money.
Yeah.
Okay? Put it into a state situation where the state provides the money.
Right, just I agree 100%. But do we know in South Carolina how much do we get from federal government per pupil?
I can't give you those.
It's
figures.
$1,700.
It's what?
$1,700. 1,700.
Okay.
On average. So I agree 100%, but I don't think that's kind of because are we
Well,
really
the problem
caving in
is, the
for
reason
that
I say get the government
$1,700?
out is they put the mandates down on how you teach.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to get
That's
out.
what I'm saying. It's why are
What they
we
teach.
why
How
are
they
we
teach it.
stuck of the $1,700? It's nothing.
No,
It's
Okay.
the state and local money.
Okay, forget the money. I'm talking about getting the kids out. Get their control. Put the control in the school board, period. And I was kind of.
So I would take it to another level. Would we take the power out of the state government too, not
Yes.
just federal? There you
Yes.
go. I would
The only
agree.
thing, the only thing
Education should be at
does
the local
is provide the money.
You're right. I agree with
All
that.
education standards should be
And
at
then
the
have
local
the
level.
school, have countywide school districts like Greenville does, and they control what goes on. And the school board needs to be run by, and I would eliminate the superintendent's job to the extent that I would put a business manager in charge of the school district. And the superintendent reports to them. Because right now, the superintendent's worried about the janitor, he's worried about this, that's bullshit.
And
They
do we,
want food education, period.
do we know how much our superintendent of education makes in Greenville?
I don't know, we can look it up.
Well over 200 grand a year.
And I mean, what did the veterans from World War II get as a benefit? It's called the GI Bill. That GI Bill did not restrict where they could go to school. It gave them the funding to choose where they want to go to school. That same thing should be done for our school children. It can be done.
And I'm
Just
all,
people don't think that because they're so used to the way things are that they cannot open the blinds and see, wait a minute, there's another way to do this.
and I'm all about people making money. If you're successful, make money, go for it. But in case you're interested to know, the Greenville County
Yeah, I got it.
Superintendent of Education salary is $283,360.
No, absolute fact.
Yes.
So when we receive $400,000 for students in the classroom from all three levels of government, now it kind of makes a little clear where the money is going, because he's just one superintendent of education. They have all these deputies and people that actually
And all their
work under him.
assistants.
So
What I'm hearing is, that's part of the thing we need to clear up. I mean, don't just get rid of Hillcrest Hospital.
Greenville County Schools budget that just passed for 25-26, it's right under $1 billion.
That's ridiculous.
$1 billion.
But did they not give a lot of that money away to developers and for
There
football field or
are a
something?
lot of concerns.
They
yes.
they just gave it away. They don't concentrate the money on improving.
It's not going to the classroom. That's what we know.
Right.
That's why, that's
What do
why-
we know? It's not going to the classroom, to the
Right.
kids. That's
Right.
what we know.
Absolutely.
You've got a lot of
Need to reprioritize.
different arguments going on here.
Don't
That's
worry,
part
the
of
teachers
the
aren't
big
getting rich.
picture.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's.
There were a lot
They're
of things,
not. I know that, but
I can
the money
argue
needs
that
to be
athletics,
redirected to the children.
having kids involved in athletics can build character. Okay, so there's a value to put on that. Now, how much do you spend on it? I can tell you for a fact in the Greenville County School District, when we were coaching softball, we got balls and chalk to lay off the field, and once every 4 years, 4 years, uniforms.
That's all we got.
That's all.
We put the bill on
We
everything.
put the bill on everything else ourselves. I got some parents to help. That's a pittance compared to other things. But those girls were just as grateful for what they got.
Oh, yeah.
So there's so many issues.
Oh, sure. And we're not,
Athletics
yeah.
and everything.
It's not
is
about
important.
that their money is being used for athletics. I think it's about the numbers.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I bet, and again, I have not been in the field of running like the schools, but I bet if you compare what Sussex Christian or any private school that has good athletic teams spend
I agree.
on all of that, and how it's about who they give the contracts to.
Yeah.
Are we really trying to save
How
money?
many assistant superintendents do we
Right.
have?
Right.
Yeah.
Why are we, the building situation, right?
Mhm.
They're just, he comes from more of the entrepreneur world. So every time he sees a empty mall, like a shopping
Absolutely.
center, why not convert that into a school? But, we have to build.
It goes back to the 90s when the school board flipped from conservative to liberal. There's a lot of money that went into that. And remember that mistake when we lost a lot of good school board members. And they immediately went in and pushed and passed this $1 billion, whatever it was, program to
build new schools, rebuild schools and all that. We just,
And the surveys were one that
we're pushing against, and, and it's just, going from there. And I don't think the school board is putting back sense.
No.
So.
So speaking of, we have the half of the alternate years. There will be a few of our school board members that will be running re-election, which is a good thing. But there are, I think, two specifically seats that we really have to focus on in the next school board elections.
Yeah, there's no question. Well, we gotta get a business person on that board.
And what we say business, not business person who is running a construction company, running building schools in our.
I'm not a retired businessman, okay?
But also Ellen Weaver is up for re-election next year. She hasn't improved the scores of teaching, of the school performance for the kids in the, what is it? Is it 5 years that she's had her position?
No, this is her first term, so she's been there. If she's running for re-election next year, it'll be 4 years. 4 years next year. This is her first.
I mean,
term.
I voted for her thinking she was going to get her master's and.
The first thing
You know
is-
how she got her master's, right? She got her master's in 6 months.
Yeah, well, I have a master's in 2 years.
Thank you. And she can be as smart as it takes, but if you can tell me what institution were allowed you to complete master program in that short period of time?
Yeah, but it's not even that. I mean, that's an important part. The other part is she hasn't succeeded in the job. The kids have not gotten better, and that's the issue.
Correct. I agree. And as we always talk about candidates, we need candidates. That's all. Okay, I'm going to finish this online stream right here. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next Friday. We have a busy few months coming up. Anything we can do, let us know, but we'll see you all next Friday. And hopefully Jeff will be sitting here instead of me, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.